stop scrolling. Because if your car has rust on it right now, there's a good chance you're about to waste a lot of money fixing it the wrong way. People get scared when they see rust. They think it means body shop, mechanic, expensive tools, some mystery chemical, maybe even replacing the whole part. And that panic is exactly why most people overpay. Because the truth is, most surface rust starts small, spreads quietly, and looks way more intimidating than it actually is. And today, I want to show you why a liquid that costs about $3 can absolutely destroy that rust without a mechanic, without a shop, without turning this into some giant weekend project that ruins your mood. But let's get one thing straight right now, because this is where people get fooled by fake hacks online. There is no magic liquid on Earth that makes rust disappear forever if you leave the metal exposed and do nothing else. That's fantasy. Rust comes back when oxygen, moisture, and unprotected metal meet again. So when I say permanently, what I really mean is this. If you remove the rust properly, neutralize the surface, and seal it the right way after, you can stop it from coming back in that spot for a very long time. And that is the difference between a real fix and a satisfying looking lie. Now here's the cheap liquid most people ignore. Plain white vinegar. That's it. Not some overpriced auto store bottle with aggressive branding and flames on the label. Just white vinegar. The same basic stuff sitting in kitchens and grocery aisles everywhere. Cheap, acidic, easy to find, and way more useful than most people think when it comes to breaking down light to moderate rust. And the reason this works is simple. Rust is iron oxide. Vinegar contains acetic acid. That acid helps loosen and dissolve rust on the surface, especially on small tools, bolts, brackets, battery trays, and metal parts you can access easily. It is not magic. It is chemistry. And chemistry does not care whether the bottle came from a mechanic or aisle 7 at the supermarket. That's the part they don't tell you. Because the internet loves one of two extremes. Either they tell you rust is the end of the world, or they pretend one wipe with some miracle liquid makes your metal immortal. Both are garbage. The real answer is better than both. If the rust is caught early, the cheap fix can work shockingly well. But only if you stop acting like the job ends when the orange color disappears. That is where most people mess this up. They remove the visible rust, look at the part, smile for 2 seconds, and walk away. Then a few weeks later, the rust is back, and now they think the liquid was fake. No, the liquid did its job. You just didn't finish yours. So here's how this really works in the real world. If the rust is on something small and removable, vinegar is almost unfairly effective for the money. You soak the part, you let time do the heavy lifting, you scrub it after. The rust softens, loosens, and starts coming off without needing industrial tools or a shop bill that makes you hate your own car. That's why this hack gets attention. Because it feels like cheating. A crusty old bolt or bracket goes in ugly, comes out looking almost new, and suddenly you feel like you stole a mechanic's secret for the price of a fast food drink. But here's the catch. That works best on removable parts, not giant body panels, not deeply rotted frames, and definitely not rust that has already eaten through the metal. If the metal is flaking apart, thinning out, bubbling from underneath the paint, or crumbling when you touch it, you are not dealing with a cleaning problem anymore. You are dealing with damage, and damage is a different conversation. This is the point where smart people save money and stubborn people lose it. Because if you know the difference between surface rust and structural rust, you win. Surface rust is usually orange, light, and sitting on top. Structural rust is when the metal is being eaten alive. One can often be cleaned and sealed. The other may need cutting, replacement welding, or a real repair. That distinction matters more than any liquid ever will. Now let's talk about why vinegar beats a lot of expensive rust miracle products for small jobs. First, it's cheap enough that you can use plenty of it without feeling robbed. Second, it actually gets into crevices and threads better than people expect. Third, it gives you time. A lot of overpriced products sell speed, but with rust, patience can save you more than force. Let the liquid work so your arms don't have to. And that brings me to the biggest mistake people make with rust removal. They attack too hard, too early. They see orange, grab a wire wheel, sand like crazy, gouge the metal, spread debris everywhere, and turn a manageable cleanup into a sloppy mess. But if you soften the rust first, the job becomes cleaner, easier, and way more satisfying. That is what cheap liquid buys you. Not just rust removal, leverage. Now imagine this. You've got an old set of pliers, some rusty screws, a battery hold-down bracket, maybe a couple of small metal clips from your car that look too nasty to save. Most people throw them away or replace them, but you soak them in vinegar for a few hours or overnight, hit them with a brush, rinse them, dry them completely, and suddenly they look alive again. That's the moment people get hooked, because it feels like you brought dead metal back from the grave. But do not stop there. This is the part that separates the fake viral hack from the real one. Once the rust is gone, you have to neutralize, dry, and protect the metal. That means rinse it well. Get rid of the acid residue. Dry it completely, and I mean completely. Not looks dry, dry. Then hit it with a rust-inhibiting primer, paint, oil, wax, or protective coating, depending on the part. That is how you make the fix last. Not with the vinegar alone, with the full sequence. Remove, clean, dry, seal. Remember that, because that's the whole game. And if you skip the seal, the metal is basically standing outside naked in the rain, wondering why the problem came back. Now for body rust, the story changes a little. If you've got a tiny rust spot on a panel, you can still use a cheap acid-based approach to help loosen the rust, but now appearance matters too. That means sanding, feathering the edges, treating the area carefully, priming, painting, and sealing. This is where a lot of people ruin their own cars by falling in love with the word cheap and forgetting the word finish. Yes, you can save money. No, you cannot skip the final protection and expect miracles. There's another reason this kind of video goes viral. People love the idea that mechanics are hiding easy fixes. Sometimes that's true. A lot of simple maintenance gets made to sound harder than it is. But with rust, the truth is a little more nuanced. The cheap liquid is not the hidden part. The hidden part is discipline. Most people don't fail because they use the wrong product. They fail because they do 80% of the job and expect 100% result. That's why the rust comes back. Not because the universe is unfair. Because bare metal always loses if you leave it unprotected. So if you want the cheapest smart play, here it is. Use white vinegar for light rust on small metal parts. Let it soak long enough to work. Scrub after soaking, not before. Rinse it, dry it, protect it. And if the rust has already eaten deep into the metal, stop pretending it's a cleaning problem and treat it like damage. That mindset alone will save you more money than most pro secrets ever will. And let me give you one more truth nobody says loudly enough. The reason cheap fixes feel so powerful is not just because they save money. It's because they give you control back. Rust makes people feel like their car is decaying in slow motion, like time is winning and they're just watching it happen. But the second you take a crusty part, clean it properly, and stop the spread, that feeling changes. Now you're not reacting. You're reversing it. That's why people love this stuff. It's not just maintenance. It's a comeback. So no, the $3 liquid is not some mythical potion that deletes rust forever all by itself. But yes, it can absolutely kill surface rust better than most people expect for almost no money, with almost no drama, if you use it the right way and finish the job. And that's the real secret. The cheap part gets the rust off. The smart part keeps it off.